Boxing. It is the oldest and most recognized combat sport in the world, with roots going back to ancient Greece, where it was included in the Olympic Games as far back as 688 BC. Two fighters stand in a square ring and use only their fists, aiming to land clean punches on the opponent while avoiding being hit. What makes boxing unique is its simplicity. There are no kicks, no grappling, no throws, just footwork, timing, and precision. It has produced some of the most iconic athletes in sports history and remains one of the most watched combat sports on the planet. Muay Thai. Developed in Thailand centuries ago as both a military fighting system and a cultural tradition, Muay Thai is often called the art of 8 limbs because fighters use their fists, elbows, knees, and shins as weapons. The clinch is a big part of the game, where fighters grab each other and deliver short, powerful knee strikes at close range. It is one of the most effective striking systems ever developed and forms the foundation of striking in modern mixed martial arts. In Thailand, it is not just a sport, it is deeply woven into national identity. Wrestling. Long before any rule set was written down, humans were wrestling. It is arguably the most ancient form of combat sport, depicted in cave paintings and practiced across virtually every civilization in history. In competition, the goal is to take your opponent to the ground and control or pin them. There are several major styles, including freestyle, Greco-Roman, and folk style, each with their own rules about what holds and movements are allowed. Wrestlers are often considered the most physically demanding athletes in combat sports due to the sheer effort required to control another resisting human body. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. What started as a modified version of Japanese Judo became something entirely its own after it was adapted and refined in Brazil by the Gracie family in the early 20th century. The core idea is that a smaller, weaker person can defeat a larger opponent by taking the fight to the ground and applying joint locks or chokes that force a submission. Matches are won not by knocking someone out, but by making them tap. It has become one of the fastest-growing martial arts in the world and is considered essential knowledge for any well-rounded fighter. Judo. Created in Japan in 1882 by Jigoro Kano, Judo was designed as a modernized and safer version of traditional Japanese Jiu-Jitsu. The emphasis is on throws and takedowns, using an opponent's energy and momentum against them rather than relying on brute strength. A single clean throw can end a match instantly, which gives Judo a dramatic quality that few other sports can match. It became an Olympic sport in 1964 and is practiced by millions worldwide, both as a competitive discipline and as a form of self-development. Kickboxing. Taking the hand techniques of boxing and adding kicks from karate and other striking arts, kickboxing emerged as a full-contact sport in the 1970s across Japan and North America simultaneously. Unlike Muay Thai, most kickboxing rule sets do not allow elbows or knee strikes, keeping the focus on punches and kicks. Competitions can be fast and explosive, with fighters needing both the technical hand skills of a boxer and the flexibility and power of a kicker. Organizations like K1 brought kickboxing to a massive global audience in the 1990s and remain influential today.
Mixed martial arts. No other combat sport brings together as many disciplines as MMA. Fighters must be competent in striking, wrestling, clinch work, and ground fighting because the rules allow almost everything a real fight might involve. It rose to mainstream prominence through the UFC in the 1990s and has since grown into one of the biggest sports industries in the world. What makes it compelling is that no single style dominates. A boxer can beat a wrestler, a grappler can submit a kickboxer, and the outcome is never certain until it is over. Taekwondo. Originating in Korea and formally established as a martial art in the 1950s, Taekwondo places extraordinary emphasis on kicking. Head height kicks, spinning kicks, and jumping kicks are not just showboating, they are central to the scoring system. Competitors wear protective gear and score points for landing techniques on legal target areas, with higher kicks earning more points. It became an Olympic sport in 2000 and is now one of the most widely practiced martial arts globally. The speed and athleticism required to compete at the top level is remarkable. Sambo. Developed in the Soviet Union during the 1920s for military and law enforcement use, Sambo blends elements of judo, wrestling, and various regional fighting styles from across the USSR. The name itself stands for self-defense without weapons in Russian. Combat Sambo allows strikes, throws, and submissions, making it one of the more complete grappling systems in existence. It has produced some of the most dangerous fighters in MMA history, particularly from Russia and the former Soviet states, and remains a point of national pride in those regions.
Capoeira. Born in Brazil among enslaved Africans during the colonial period, capoeira is unlike anything else in combat sports. It blends fighting techniques with music, acrobatics, and dance in a way that disguises its martial nature behind fluid, rhythmic movement. Practitioners spar in a ritual exchange called the yogo, moving to the sound of a berimbau, a traditional stringed instrument. While not commonly seen in mainstream competition, its influence on movement, body awareness, and creativity is respected across martial arts communities worldwide. Sumo. In Japan, sumo is not simply a sport. It is a centuries-old ceremonial tradition deeply tied to Shinto religion, with rituals and customs that have remained largely unchanged for hundreds of years. Two wrestlers called rikishi face off in a circular ring called a dohyo, and the winner is whoever forces their opponent out of the ring or makes them touch the ground with anything other than the soles of their feet. Despite the size of the competitors, elite sumo requires extraordinary technique, balance, and speed. It remains one of Japan's most culturally significant institutions. Fencing. Rooted in the traditions of European sword fighting, fencing evolved from military training into a precise and technical sport that has been part of every modern Olympic game since 1896. Competitors use one of three weapons, the foil, the épée, or the saber, each with different rules about valid target areas and scoring. Bouts are incredibly fast, often decided in fractions of a second, and require a combination of explosive movement, strategic thinking, and split-second reactions. It is one of the most mentally demanding combat sports in existence, sometimes described as physical chess.